Dr. Saiba, thank you very much for giving us time. Since you're a very much well-known doctor, especially you're looking after a very important area and one of the biggest hospitals in Islamabad. Please tell us more about your background and the composition of your family.
Well, my husband is a retired bureaucrat. He retired as a federal secretary. I'm heading the Department of Obstetrics and Gynaecology. I'm the Dean Postgraduate Quaid-e-Azam Postgraduate Medical College, Pakistan Institute of Medical Sciences. Regarding my family, I have 4 children, 2 boys, 2 girls, and all of them are professionally educated. 2 are doctors and 1 is an engineer, and the youngest is becoming an engineer.
Okay. Dr. Saiba, what made you choose this field, especially medical?
Well, I always wanted to be highly educated, and it was my mother's wish that I should become a doctor, and not only a doctor, a famous doctor. As a child, I knew I have to become a big doctor.
Okay, and then you did it.
And Alhamdulillah, I managed it.
Okay, you talked about particularly mother. Means in your whole career from schooling to up to this level, who was the one that really supported you, or your whole family, or then there is a specific person you would give credit?
Well, I think my whole family supported me. I'm one of those lucky ones where I got support from my family before I got married. From my father, my mother, and one of my uncles, who himself was an educationist, and my grandfather, my maternal grandfather, himself was a doctor.
Okay.
And so one of my uncles was also a doctor. So I knew what is a doctor and how much respect a doctor has, and what it means in the community. Then when I got married, my husband is a PhD doctor, a professional, and he's also an economist, so very versatile person, and he respected my feelings that I want to become a big doctor. So I got all my professional education after my MBBS, after my marriage. My husband and my mother-in-law, both of them supported me, and I think I got a lot of family support. My mother-in-law was looking after my house and my children for almost 20 years, so I had no worry regarding the house, and my husband supported me with whatever I wanted to do. Perhaps he was confident I want to do the right things.
You mentioned about your children that both are for education, and also you mentioned that grandfather and grandmother they really look after, and also mother-in-law. But mother contribution is always has to be there. And then how did you manage with your jungle of work and the studies, and now as a motherhood, how did you manage?
I think one has to fix your priority and have objectives in life and try to balance everything. So when I go to work, I forget my house. When I go to my house, I forget my work. I mean, I don't carry any stresses from my work to my house, but the profession I am in, there are always emergencies. And I have been very quick in responding to emergencies, because I believe right decision, right time is what really matters everywhere, and the most important person is my patient. So that is how I try to juggle between the two things. and I knew that if I want to achieve something, I'll have to put in extra hours.
Okay. If you take extra hours, how your family will react sometime, because to rush to go, then that time, or you have to be late sometime, then how you react sometime as a human being?
I think you're right. As a human being, the family does react, and that's but natural. But somehow my family developed this understanding that I'm looking after precious lives. So my family basically supported me in those things. For example, when I was at a very junior place and I was working in district headquarter hospital some 20 years ago, you can understand how far it is from where I am at this point. I was here, I was living here, and I am still living here. So my husband in emergency situations used to drive me down there. He would say, he would give my my professional commitments priority, and that's how my children also developed that. But they also had their grandmother to look after them, and I think she looked after them better than I could. For example, I can say, well, it's breakfast time. She would ask every child, what would you like to have, and she would prepare that for them, which I, being a professional mother, would not. And I used to tell her, okay, you are making life difficult for me, I can't do this. For example, एक बच्चा कहता है मैंने पराठा खाना और एक कहता है मैंने टोस्ट खाना. So that was the sort of commitment and love she gave to my children, and they never suffered.
Okay. Then when we have a look at the Western media, or even it's a reality that there is just gender discrimination in our society, especially female. Miss, do you think that your story is like all women's stories in Pakistan?
No. I have at least trained, I don't know how many, postgraduate doctors, and I've been in PIMS for the last 15 years, and at least 100 doctors minimum, I haven't counted, I've asked them now to count, doctors have been trained under me, specialists, and I face their problems every now and then. Sometimes the husband doesn't allow them to work, sometimes the mother-in-law is trying to tell them you should take time off, and I have even gone to the extent that I have advised them to bring their husbands, and I have counseled them, and I did work. And for professional women, especially who are with the family and married, who are the beneficiaries at the end of the day? It is the family, and they need to realize that their contributions towards the family, and they do become supportive if one tries to explain. But you know our culture and our society.
Means then this if there is no problem from even, do you think there's still there is profession also that Pakistani women faces, for example from other doctors, or maybe from teaching field also in university level? We have been reporting the lots of that sexual harassment sometimes. Means does it happen?
I think discrimination and sexual harassment, we are saying, is present at all places of work for all female workers, even doctors. And there is discrimination for females. I have been extraordinarily lucky because I had a husband who was a bureaucrat. So there was a hidden protection for me. And people at my place of work dare not, I never faced, alhamdulillah, any problems. But there is gender discrimination, and if I say that I am facing that even now and today at such a position, you would believe or you may not believe. I leave it to you.
example, women can face, maybe that they, especially in administration area, for example, when a big responsibility is to be given to someone else, then that time, if you are also one of the candidates, then do they think that from the socially gender pre-assumed kind of structure they have in their mind, or in what kind of?
I think as a reputation, women are more strict than men when they are in administration. I mean, this is what I've heard about so many other female administrators or women in female administration. Number one. Number two, they are more careful than their male counterparts not to commit mistakes. Moreover, they try to have perhaps I would say they try to being a female, it's a challenge for them and for their environment, so they do face more problems. It's more difficult for them because it is a male dominant society. But I tell you, even in the West, women face the same problems. They have been through the same gender discrimination, and they still face the same. So a woman has to be 2 times better than a man to be in the same position. It's not the same. A man with equal qualities may get the same position. A woman may have to have 10 times more capabilities to get that position.